Yo, boys, I just have to say, MXGP3's main menu screen is literally 5 times as good as the MXGP 2019 menu screen. Like, good God, bro. I'd much rather sit here and look at pictures of, like, real-life bikes than just a blank white screen on MXGP 2019. Like, dude, that is so boring. Just sitting at a white blank screen and your rider sitting there, and then you got, all this stuff over here in black, right? This is 1,000 times better, and this isn't even like an extensive, main menu background or anything like that. This is like simple, and it's even 5 times as good as what MXGP 2019 is, right? Like, this kind of reminds me a little bit of like the Unleashed days and stuff, where they would show the real life pictures and stuff like that in the background of the main menu. I think it looks cool. Like, but like, damn, I mean, just think about how far backwards they've went just on the main menu screen, dog. So either way, let's get into this video, boys. If you ain't sipping on some tea, what the hell you doing, dog? You know what I'm saying? So, all right, wanted to get in here. Whenever I first started making my videos on MXGP 2019, one of the first things a lot of you guys said was, oh, you like compared it back to MXGP 3 in the sense of like, oh, well, MXGP 3 had better cornering, or oh, MXGP 3 was better in this way, or whatever, which is not just the game before and not just 2 games before, the motocross game before, but it's 2 motocross games before MXGP 2019, and what, like 4 milestone games ago is what this MXGP 3 is, right? Because it went MXGP 3 and then the first Supercross game, and then it went to MXGP Pro, then it went to Supercross 2, and then it went to MXGP 2019. So this is literally 4 games ago, and people are making these big accusations that this game is actually better in a lot of ways. So I wanted to come in here and really check this out firsthand instead of just trying to like think back and remember how it was, Really wanted to come in here and look at this. So, okay, so this is right after having, MXGP 2019 really fresh on my mind. This is my first time coming back and playing MXGP 3 in quite a while, probably like a year plus, right? So I wanted to come back in here and look at this. So first of all, right off the bat, just one thing I have to say. You can definitely tell the graphical fidelity and like the overall sharpness of the graphics and stuff like that is obviously better in the newer games, like for sure. There's really no doubt about that, but which is as expected 4 games later, but I just wanted to point that out. Like, yeah, when you do go back to these games back in these days, you can definitely see that the graphics are a little bit more outdated, but believe it or not, and I know this is going to sound kind of bizarre, but believe it or not, like the physics on the bike, like the way the bike actually feels and the way you're kind of moving around and shit, is not that much different than MXGP 2019. And mind you, this is a game 4 games ago, and it's really not that much difference. Like, they've really not made that much more of an improvement at all. I could certainly see the argument where some of you guys are saying that this actually feels better than MXGP 2019. I 100% can see where you're coming from, because when you corner in this game, your dude's actually like, he's actually like naturally leaning over, and you can get the power to the ground and really like gas it through a corner versus having all that weird bullshit slide that they started doing with MXGP Pro. You know what I'm saying? They went down that weird trying to do this pro physics thing, and in reality it turned out to be more janky than anything, right? With the whole like sliding mechanic that they tried to add to MXGP Pro, and the weird whip vibe shit they started go down, the popping off on every little 5-foot double. This right here, oh my god, dudes, like, I totally see where you guys are coming from saying that this feels better in the corners, because it fucking does. This feels better to me than MXGP 2019 in the corners, and you can most certainly argue that this feels better than MXGP Pro in the corners for sure. Like, god damn, that is insane. And even the jumps. Okay, I've been really complaining about the small-ass rolled-off jumps of MXGP 2019. Even the jumps of all the way back in MXGP 3 had more of a lip to them, and you got more airtime. way back in these days than you do even nowadays. In the most modern new milestone MXGP 2019 game, you literally got twice the airtime, twice the distance it feels like. Like, you know, you're actually jumping like you're supposed to jump in a motocross game back in MXGP 3. Holy shit, Milestone. You need to come back and realize what the hell. I'm just... There's not even any words for this, dude. This is so insane. And even the whips, like, you know how shitty the whips felt in MXGP Pro and Supercross 2 when the game first came out before they updated and all that? This feels way fucking better whip-wise than it did in both of those games, like I've been talking about this whole time. Even this feels better than that. Now, obviously, with MXGP 2019, they've definitely really kind of started improving and giving you more of the variable whips and been able to really move and bring it back around, but think about how shitty, though, the whips were in MXGP Pro and Supercross 2 when it first came out compared to this all the way back in MXGP 3. Holy shit. Dude, you guys remember this compound in MXGP 3? Right? And then the first Supercross game came out after this game and had no compound in it at all. Oh, but no, Spencer, you're just a hater of these milestone games. No, dog. Oh, I'm actually jumping. Oh, and I'm actually jumping in the air more than 5 feet on this compound, and there's actually jumps on the compound. There's actually a full-blown real motocross track on the compound. Oh, and then MXGP 2019, you're barely even coming off the ground. There's no jump bigger than like 5 foot. And all the way back in MXGP 3, they gave you a free compound when the game first came out, motherfucker, and it actually has jumps. In Supercross, the first game that all you guys jizzed in your panties over, had no fucking compound. It didn't even have a compound. There's no more words for it, dog. There's no more words. And then they charge you. They have the audacity to charge you for a compound later in DLC in the first Supercross game. And then in MXGP 2019, they give you a compound, right? But it's the most lackluster, simplistic-ass jumps, barely come off the ground jumps, these weird-ass, like, weirdly designed 2 motocross tracks that barely have any jumps on them at all, right? And then you can go all the way back to MXGP 3. Boys, I didn't even realize this. This is insanity. MXGP 3 feels better than MXGP 2019. Not just MXGP Pro, but MXGP 2019. Look at how high I'm fucking jumping. You know how high you get off the ground on MXGP 2019, which is not at all. And look at this. The Supercross track literally feels twice as good, like jump design wise, on track design, than the Supercross track on MXGP 2019. I was sitting there thinking in my head, like, oh, I'm going to go in there and play a little bit of MXGP 3 and then go back and play some MXGP 2019 for this video. But I don't even want to go play any MXGP 2019 after hopping on MXGP 3. It's like, why would I even want to go play that? Holy God, dude. This is, wow, you guys were right. This is insane. I can't even fathom this. 4 games ago, the game was literally twice as good. Oh, milestone. Milestone. Look at the airtime I'm getting. Look at the fucking airtime I'm getting compared to MXGP 2019. I'm literally getting double or triple the amount of airtime on this right here. If you can find a jump that big anywhere on MXGP 2019, I'm talking anywhere, then you're literally, Travis Pastrana God level at finding a jump, because there are none. There literally are none. And not to mention, you got these cool ass, you can really start jumping big if you hit shit really hard like this. You know what I'm saying? Look at the airtime, dog. That's like almost like that big jump free ride freestyle type jumping that I'm talking about, that like you get in the MX versus ATV game free ride tracks and stuff. That's almost to that jumping level, and you would never be able to hit shit like that in the newer Milestone games ever. Milestones literally went backwards. Oh my God, they are tricking so many of you dudes. Look at this. Holy God, that's actually so much fun to be able to hit something like that. They are tricking you guys with the graphical improvements and all this other horseshit. It's all a big scheme. It's all a big trick. It's all a big false. You're thinking they're improving on things. And they're really not at all. They're not at all. Go back and play MXGP fucking 3. Dude, if you have MXGP 3, there's literally no reason to even buy MXGP 2019 or MXGP Pro. There's no reason. There's literally no reason, dude. Like, oh my God. This is something else. I didn't even realize this, by the way. I literally didn't even realize this. I guess I need to go get some MXGP 2019 gameplay going here just to kind of give you a little example, give you a little bit of a comparison here. So give me just a second. Okay, so now here we are in the main menu of MXGP 2019. And need I say any more? Need I say any more? Wow, boys, like I just didn't realize. I didn't even realize that even like I was giving MXGP 2019, even with being as negative as I was and as critical as I was still giving this game too much credit for being 4 games after, MXGP 3 and as good as MXGP 3 was. I was still giving this game too much credit. So what I'm actually talking about here is, I had it in my head that like all the way back in MXGP 3, I thought the jumps were even smaller than they were. But me going back and playing it just then, I realized they really weren't that small as I'd remembered, right? So it makes MXGP 2019 look even worse because these jumps are even smaller and even more rolled off than the jumps of all the way back in MXGP 2000 or MXGP 3. My bad. Sorry, boys. Been saying so many names of these motocross games here lately. Gets a little confusing, but dude, like, so insane. So insane. It just makes no sense. Like, what the hell, Milestone? What the hell? I mean, the only thing you can even really say is all that much better about MXGP 2019 over MXGP 3 is the graphics, and it's got a track editor. That's about the only things you can say. Like, yeah, it does have more bike tuning options and shit like that. You know what I mean? But like, really, at the end of the day, all of that stuff is just, it's really minute in a arcade motocross game, especially one like these Milestone games. All the tuning, all that bullshit in a game that's this easy to begin with, right? In the game that's not really that extensive and like as far as bike movement and leaning and jump skill gap and all that, and like there's no real whoop difficulty or inside ruts that you're getting in hardcore. It eliminates so much more of the bike tuning and needing to do all that. You know what I mean? For instance, I'll give you a good little example here, like let's say Reflex, for instance, right? Just another arcade motocross game. Even with Reflex, see the tuning and all that makes so much more of a difference because if you don't have a bike tuned right or like whatever in Reflex, you may not even be able to hit a certain jump because there's actually jump difficulty and rhythm difficulty, and if you come up short, you're going to pop off on Reflex, right? Most of the time, not all the time, but a lot of the times, right? So if you have a bike like tuned maximum top speed on Reflex, you may not even be able to hit a jump, whereas in MXGP 2019, there's not even a jump in the entire game that really requires you to really have like a certain like gearing or whatever, so it doesn't even matter. See how the tuning doesn't even matter. Or like in Reflex, there may be like a track that has a lot of roughness on it, so it matters more on how you adjust the suspension, whereas with MXGP 2019, there's pretty much no roughness in this game at all, and the whoops do absolutely nothing. There's no skill to anything in this game, so therefore the tuning and the adjustments and all that literally pretty much mean nothing. Like, there's no point to any of that, so therefore making all of the less amount of adjustments that you have in MXGP 3, it's not even that big of a deal. You can still adjust your gearing and your suspension in MXGP 3, the main things, but obviously with MXGP 2019, like, they try to add a couple little more things like mapping. They try to make this seem like it's a big, like, extensive thing, but really it's just 2 options, aggressive or modular. That's it, right? Like, and then you've got wheelbase, right? which is short, intermediate, long. Like I say, all this little extra shit, brake response, like all this little extra shit, it don't even really matter in a game like this. All you really need is suspension and gear ratio. So therefore, even the things that MXGP 3 are kind of like missing and outdated on and stuff don't even really matter all that much in these games. They just don't. But look at the difference in the Supercross track of this game versus MXGP 3. Just think of the airtime I was getting off of some of those jumps and just think about the difference, right? It's just like there's so much more of a gravitational pull to the ground in this game. So much more friction to the dirt. You feel like you're going so much slower and jumping so much less height-wise, right? And the tracks feel more cramped, so then everything feels more boring about it. Everything feels more lackluster. Everything feels less fun. Like it actually feels like there's less of a skill gap in this game because of all those things versus, MXGP 3 in that sense. Like that right there is probably the biggest jump I've ever hit. If I can hit a bigger jump by literally jumping off the berm than the actual Supercross jumps on the Supercross track, you've got a problem, Milestone. And I don't mean hitting the berm from the backside. I mean hitting the berm from the front side, right? Like from the corner side, right? Like if I can come over here, let me see. Where did I jumped off of this over here, okay? Hang on just 1 second. Let me just prove a point here, right? Like, if I can stay on the bike, why the hell did I even fall off right there? So that's all little random bullshit that wouldn't even happen in MXGP3. All this weird janky like physics things that's kind of been brought into the game from MXGP Pro has done a number on this game for sure, dude. But like, watch this though. I mean, I can literally get more airtime off of the hitting the berm than I can any jump on the actual Supercross track. There's no defense for that at all, dudes. None. Literally none. Like, I'm barely even coming off the ground. This game is just so boring. Now, I will admit it. MXGP3, you can feel in the physics. They feel outdated, right? They may not feel quite as, like, quote-unquote smooth as the MXGP 2019 physics or what the animations may not be quite as smooth or whatever. But really, that doesn't mean all that much or matter all that much if this game is so much more boring in the sense of like you don't feel like you're going fast. You don't feel like you're really moving. There's no skill gap to the jumps. You don't feel like you're ever coming off the ground. And in the corners, there's actually like a traction pull, like cornering system to MXGP3 that feels better. It just feels better to me. I don't know. MXGP3 just feels better all the way around. The compound feels better. Everything about the standard tracks feel better. Everything, dude. Down to the main menu looks better. But, I mean, obviously, the one thing that it doesn't have as good as this game is obviously graphics because they're going to advance the graphics. Like, obviously, dog. You know what I mean? But, like, look at that right there. Even if I want to go try to hit some big, crazy jump, it's so fucking janky that as soon as I hit it, my front end just goes squirrely as shit, and then I just crash. I can't even hit the fucking jump because of all the janky-ass, weird, like, wanna be more realistic, wanna be more like a simulator-type physics, janky bullshits they've added to this game in MXGP Pro. It makes it to where you can't even... God damn it, dude. What they've done is they've just overcomplicated everything with the MXGP Pro sort of road of physics, and they've just went down all these weird routes and kind of pushed their physics towards these weird areas without any sort of real TLC or time put into the physics systems, really trying to make them like proper, more skill gappy, difficult rhythm, not rhythm, my bad, more difficult, physics systems to the game. Like, they've just went in a different direction, not even in a better direction since MXGP3. It's just a different direction. That, like, there's just more of a slide. There's more of an ability to wreck, but it's not even like... See, the crazy part about like MXGP Pro and MXGP 2019, it's not even really that you wreck from a mistake or a lack of skill as much as it feels like you're wrecking from just a janky physics system. You're wrecking because the game has just got a weird ass physics system to it. The way that you know that is because you can go back and play MXGP 3, and those weird ass janky wrecks don't happen. You see what I'm saying? You may wreck on MXGP 3 because you like actually did something wrong on the track, or you made a mistake. Then you might wreck on MXGP 3. But you got to understand, right? It's like the kinds of wrecks that you have in MXGP Pro, and the popping off on a 5-foot double, and the sliding out in a corner and you instantly wreck without even being able to even remotely save it, and you slid out on nothing for no reason, and all this weird shit that happens, or you like barely, like me trying to jump that bigger like wall type jump over there a while ago, my front end just crashing into the ground for no reason. All these weird little janky, and you like clipping on these weird little barely changing terrain spots, and then you just instantly wreck, right? I will admit it probably was a little worse in MXGP Pro than it is in MXGP 2019, but still, there's still so much of that janky, bizarre MXGP Pro physics systems that are, and physics fillings that are carried over to MXGP 2019, that it makes it to where MXGP 3 just feels better. Like, straight up, dog. It feels better than MXGP 2019. So, yes, all you dudes that were saying that were 100% correct. Does it feel a little bit more outdated in MXGP 3? Yeah, in a way, but it feels better, right? Like kind of an accurate comparison is kind of like, even though Reflex is older than, like, MX vs. ATV Supercross, or MX vs. ATV All Out for that matter, it still feels better. You see what I'm saying? That's kind of the same sort of difference. Like, MXGP3 is older, but that doesn't mean it can't feel better, right? Just because it's a newer game doesn't mean it's better. You know what I'm saying? And that's precisely the entire point of this whole thing, is Milestone has went in a lot of wrong ways with their physics system. Like, They've went in a lot of bizarre directions, and it just makes no sense, because you can go back and play MXGP3 and instantaneously it feels better in the corners. And I'm not saying that there shouldn't be any slide in the corners at all. And I'm not saying that MXGP3 has a perfect physics system, or, oh my God, they just need to go back to MXGP3 and everything's going to be great. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just pointing out that it's fucking insane that 4 games later in a AAA motocross game company, in the physics filling on the bike, and the track designs and the jump designs and all that, feels literally twice as bad as a game that they just made 4 years ago, right? Feels twice as bad as that. Why? Like, you see what I'm saying? That's what I'm getting at. And if you can hit a big jump, you can't even fucking land it, because there's no landing, because they build this big-ass mountain in the middle of the freeride map, the worst design of a freeride map, I swear to God, that's ever been made ever, because you can't get any fucking speed to actually hit anything and or have a landing for anything. It's like, what the fuck is this? This is so retarded track design. The worst track design I swear I've ever seen in any motocross game ever. MXGP 2019, you got the crown for that one, boy. Like, whoever was the track designer of this game, don't ever work on a motocross game ever again in your entire life. Don't ever do it ever again, because you have no idea what the hell you're doing whatsoever with track designs and jump designs and that whole side to all of that. Don't ever do it ever again, because you are terrible. You're terrible, and you have no idea what makes a motocross game fun. You have no clue, obviously, apparently. Like, and that's not even really, like, disputable. Just look at the fucking track designs. Look at the jump designs. Just look at it. It's just like, dog. But that's what I'm getting at, though. I'm not saying MXGP3 is, like, perfect, but you got to understand, like, Milestone is so low to begin with that even MXGP3 makes this look better, makes this look bad. You see what I'm saying? Like, even MXGP3 can look better in this realm, even though MXGP3 is not even that crazy good of a motocross game, like physics-wise or jump design-wise or anything. That's even like below average than what I would say even for its time in AAA motocross games. But even that looks feels and looks twice as good as what this does because of how bad this is. And for the time this is, you got to remember, this is a game 4 games later. This should theoretically be, damn near 2 to 3, 4 times as good as MXGP 3. Theoretically, it should be that. You shouldn't even be remotely thinking about MXGP 3 feeling better or having more fun factor or having more jump fun factor or anything like that. That shouldn't even be remotely in your mind at all. That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm saying. It's crazy how you could even be remotely thinking that. But that's true. It is that much better. But that shouldn't even be a thing because this game is 4 games later. You see what I'm saying? That's what's crazy about it. But but even after all that, I'm not saying MXGP 3 is like, oh my God, the Taj Mahal is so much, it's just the best motocross physics ever and blah, blah, blah. Like, no, don't get my words twisted. I'm just saying that's so much better than whatever the hell this horseshit is. It's 1,000 times better than this. I'm just telling you, dude, it is. It is. And I don't even know. I don't even know what to say anymore. Like, it's just so... no excuse. What have I been saying from the jump? What has Spency Boy been saying from the jump? I took a lot of flack, took a lot of hate, being this critical on these milestone games. Took a lot of fanboy groups going at me and negativity going towards me and all these things. But I just love how everything I ever said, it's just getting proven to be right over and over and over. It's like every newer milestone game that comes out, it's just proving every single point I've been making this whole time. It's like, dog, good God. Did I not read this shit from 1.5 miles away? Every bit of this I was saying back before the first Supercross game came out. Every bit of this. I was saying all of this, and it's funny because it's like, even when MXGP 3 came out, I was like, man, I even think they could probably make the jumps a little bigger and inside ruts and roughness and all that kind of stuff. And they still don't have any of that. And here we are 4 games later, and they still don't have bigger jumps. In fact, they even have smaller jumps than they had in MXGP 3. They still don't have hardcore inside ruts. They still don't have roughness. They still don't have the amount of content you deserve in a AAA motocross. They still don't have any of that shit. Any of it. Ain't nothing more to say, dudes. Either way, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. You know who you got to come to get the real opinions, man. I've been saying this whole time. I've been saying it this whole time. Shout out to all you dudes that are starting to realize, starting to understand. Maybe you got pissed at me or whatever for my opinions about some of these milestone games a while back, but I just hope you're starting to realize what I've been saying this whole time, because it's for the better of the motocross community. You got to understand what I'm saying. It's for the better of all of it if you understand what I'm saying, because it's only going to make the motocross games better. If you get out there and start ranting about this or really giving your opinions about it and giving the negative feedback that this desperately needs to have towards it, then you're making motocross gaming better by doing that. It's to the point where you can't just be soft-spoken anymore. And you could even argue that back in MXGP Pro. If you were soft-spoken about the negativities of MXGP Pro, you're not doing your diligence. You're not doing your duty. You need to be more sturdy, more hardcore opinion negative about it, because that's how bad it is, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's to that point to where you can't be soft-spoken. You can't be neutral. You can't be just kind of, well, it's not that bad. No, it's terrible. It's god-awful. It's fucking unacceptable. That's the kind of shit you should be saying about this. But either way, dudes, that's it for this video. Just want to come out here and prove that, yes, all the way back to MXGP 3, and the shit feels better and has better jumps than in a better main menu and everything. It just doesn't have a track editor. Whoop-de fucking do. And the track editor's really not even that extensive in MXGP 2019 anyways. But it's like every other... If you have MXGP 3, don't buy this game at all. Do not buy this game at all. There's no point. It's literally pointless. Go play MXGP 3. You'll have more fun, I swear to God. This game is just boring. it's just boring. Like, there's nothing else to say. It's just boring, dude. So either way, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a fun video to make for sure. Damn, this kind of makes me want to go play some MXGP 3. Just like, and I didn't even remember it being, see, you think in your head like, oh, surely the games have progressed more, and surely they didn't feel that good back then. Like, you know, you kind of like get a little forgetful on how the games actually were, because you give these newer games more credit because you think, oh, well, surely they've improved. Surely the jumps were a lot smaller back then, right? Surely they weren't. But then you go back and play them and realize the jumps were bigger and more fun factor than they are in MXGP 2019. In the cornering and the fun factor, everything's better in MXGP 3 than it is in MXGP 2019. When you go back and directly compare, I swear to God, dude, like, it's insane. Insane. Man, nothing more to say. Either way, later, dudes.